Huddle Up Podcast is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? All right, and then finally, Sean, NFL Super Bowl weekend always brings up the Pro Football Hall of Fame class. This year's inductees, first-timers on the ballot, wide receiver Calvin Johnson, quarterback Peyton Manning, defensive back Charles Woodson. Don't think there's really any argument against those three getting in on their first shot.
Despite a really weird handful of voices there. If you ever heard that trio talk, very strange. Be an awkward podcast if the three of them
It would.
Yeah.
I don't know if you haven't checked out Peyton's Places on ESPN Plus.
Oh, it's great.
It is so good. We are finally digging through it.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
If you like the style of quarterback or of comedians in cars getting coffee, but you love football, it's that
like kind of whimsical.
It's so good.
Well-written comedy with the Peyton Manning Southern drawl. But much like in the Cars with Coffee, it's tied in by Seinfeld's love of cars. This is Peyton's love of football.
I think my two favorite episodes so far, we only gotten through about halfway through season one, is the wide receiver episode where he's throwing the ball off the
trying to recreate the catch down at Bryant Park.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, a friend of ours, Tim Callahan, who's definitely not listening to this podcast, not a sports guy, but he got married in that park. That's where we were at for the wedding. All the photographs. From his wedding.
Shit.
Right at the Bryant Park Grill there. Rented out the building. Married on the rooftop there, overlooking the park. So we were right there.
I really like the one with the Kickers when he went to Vinatieri and had the old marching band. So definitely a fun watch. But rounding out the rest of the class, offensive lineman Alan Faneca, head coach Tom Flores, safety John Lynch, scout Bill Nunn.
Yeah, the Bay down here pretty jacked.
Yeah, I would say so.
They get a world championship.
He's like their
John
GM
Lynch.
or something right now.
Love guy down here. They love John Lynch.
Oh my God!
Why wouldn't you?
He's part of the reason they won their first Super Bowl.
To tear the head off of people's shoulders. Very different game today. But yeah, good for him. So far, no one I would question on that.
And then finally getting in wide receiver Drew Pearson from the Dallas Cowboys. So definitely long overdue for him. It seems weird, and I'm not comparing Drew Pearson all time to Calvin Johnson, because I think Calvin Johnson plays out his career. He's probably going down as top 5, top 3 wide receivers ever to play the game. But
because you had a physical specimen, a point of the catch guy up there with a Randy Moss.
Yeah. But
he was also a hardworking, Jerry Rice-esque route runner. And it was a weird combination, and that's why nobody wanted to defend him. Mm-hmm. And that's why no one could. So it was, it was good to see him get in, because I've been defending Calvin in a lot of circles.
But it's such an interesting juxtaposition to see a wide receiver get on his first ballot, and a guy like Drew Pearson, who should have, by all accounts, been in years ago.
Probably, yeah.
I feel like he's very similar to Art Monk. Art Monk was a wide receiver that took forever to get in. And I get when you're in the era just before what really became the flashy worldwide NFL, unfortunately they're going to get overlooked, and it's going to continue to happen because now it's the offensive juggernauts and stuff like that. They're going to start really piling in and getting in. But Peyton, Charles Woodson, Calvin Johnson, to me, all were definite first timers. It would have been wrong if they wouldn't have gotten in on their first go. So, definitely happy for them. Now we looked to next year. There's a handful of guys that will be on the ballot for the first time next year, and see if any of these jump off the page at you, Sean, for guys that should definitely get in.
Because I haven't looked into it, so this will be the first
on their first shot. So it's linebacker DeMarcus Ware, wide receiver Devin Hester, wide receiver Steve Smith Sr., linebacker Robert Mathis, defensive tackle Vince Wilfork, and then wide receivers Andre Johnson and Anquan Bolden are your notable first time ballot. Huddle Up Podcast is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?
What was the first name? You said it was
DeMarcus Ware.
Marcus Ware. I don't know that he jumps off the page. I mean, the good news for a lot of the guys that are on their second, third, fourth, maybe go around.
It feels like a lighter class.
This might be a great year. I think of the names you said, two of the wide receivers jump out. I would say a Steve Smith probably jumps out ahead of everyone else for me, despite the fact that I think Andre Johnson was a much more physically gifted wide receiver. Andre Johnson, also a very liked individual, gave a lot back to the community of Houston, all over the country. He used to do that. I think he still does.
I believe
Christmas
so.
time does the Walmart pays
off.
Oh,
he goes in and pays off stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and he helps out a lot of inner city families and things. So I think that's great. I'd have no problem with him getting in. I just would have to look at the numbers on Andre Johnson as far as longevity. I feel like he was hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Struggled to finish seasons, especially late in his career. I'd be curious where he stacks up on some of these lists. But Steve Smith was incredibly dominant. He was a different style of wide receiver. He kind of led the way for some of these smaller guys that were just kind of, and I'm not saying it was like a Wes Welker-esque because he didn't play that style of position, but he kind of told smaller guys, like, you can be a 1 or 2, play on the outside, play on the inside, play wherever you want. You're just going to have to work hard to do it. And he used to have to be tenacious. A lot of people said he was a dirty player, but I think doing what he did at his size had to be. So he jumps out to me as like the one that I would probably give a first-year vote to. Some of those other defensive, like DeMarcus Ware, I would have no problem with. And there was a couple other you said, but Steve Smith's the one I think to me that really jumps out of the group. Yeah,
I mean, obviously as a Cowboys fan, like DeMarcus Ware,
I think of DeMarcus Ware as a Bronco. Because
that's where he won. It's where he won a Super Bowl. Yeah, but I mean, he was spectacular as a Cowboy. And
Tom will tell you that's what counts.
And and his longevity, at that position,
Incredibly.
his dominance at that position. Is he a slam dunk first timer? I don't think he is. I think he'll get in. I don't think there's any question.
If not this year, in the future, absolutely, yeah.
I don't think there's a question really on
maybe this class that I really didn't see a lot of jump. Maybe that's his best shot. Maybe it was a good time to be a first ballot.
But like, I think all of these guys, all of these guys will definitely get in. Like, I mean,
probably, yeah.
But if I had to pick one from that list, for first timers, it would also probably be Steve Smith as well. I mean, he was just so good and dominant, and the fact,
and for so long.
And he was so little too. Like, I think that, like, in an era and a position where we started.
I want to look up sometime how many quarterbacks he played for.
Oh well, Jake Delhomme was there for
a while.
Quite a while. But once,
I don't know if he was on the team with Kerry Collins. I don't think he was there that long ago. But he also jumped around then.
Oh, yeah, he went to Baltimore. Did he go anywhere else but Baltimore?
Maybe that was it. All right, we'll have to check him out. But that's a good list. But like you said, if there are any other guys out there like your guy that that are just waiting to get in, maybe they're like, oh, I'm getting overlooked.
Yeah, he only played with Carolina and Baltimore. Couple highlight: 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time first team All Pro, second team All Pro. He was comeback player of the year. He led the league in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns in 2005. Yeah, and 5'9". 14,000 receiving yards, 81 touchdowns. Also had some return yards and touchdowns. So, I mean,
early in his career, especially, he did a lot of that.
That's usually what happens when you're 5'9" as a wide receiver. You usually get put as a return guy. But
ran a 4.39 40 at the NFL Combine.
That's fast.
It's pretty fast.
Pretty damn fast. I feel like he could have still ran that at the end of his career. Like, I feel like he never really slowed down that much. But finally, Sean,
in his rookie year, he just returned kicks. This was a great thing to start off a career. He was a kick and punt returner primarily, led all rookies in net yardage with 1,994 yards, and he landed 4th place among all NFL players in all-purpose yards. The three that beat him: Priest Holmes, Marshall Faulk, and Derek Mason.
Wow.
So as a rookie, mostly returning kicks and punts, those were the only 3 guys with more all-purpose yards than Steve Smith his rookie year. Not
pretty
bad.
Good. Pretty good. It's a pretty good start.
Pretty good stage setter, yeah.
Huddle Up Podcast is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?